Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear friends, today we are going to study about ADC module of PIC 16F877A. Before studying it, let us have the overview about this particular controller. For that, we have to refer device overview. So here we have the operating frequency of this particular controller is 20 MHz, and then its flash memory is, program memory is 8K, data memory is 368 bytes, EEPROM is 256, interrupt supporter 15. We have nearly 5 ports, IO ports, each consists of 8 bits. Then we have 3 timers. Then CCP, capture compare modules, we have 2. Then USART, serial communication module we have. Then analog to 8 input channel analog to digital converter. Our aim is only this: we are going to study how to program this 10-bit analog to digital converter module. That was today's session. Then it is having 40 pins. This is the thing. The next thing that we have to know is what are those pins used as analog to digital converter in this particular controller. To know that, let us see the pin diagram. This is pin diagram. Here from AN0 to AN7 is called as analog input channels. Okay, so through this, by configuring the special registers, we can make them as, we can use them for input to the analog to digital converter. Now we know what is the input pins, and then what is the capacity of the controller. Okay, so now we have to operate it. To operate that, we should know, to operate the ADC module, we should know the special registers which are used to control the analog to digital conversion operations. They are 127. Okay, analog to digital converter module has a 5 inputs for 28 pin devices and 8 for 40 and 44 pin devices. Okay, we have 8 pin, that is 40 pin DIP, so it has 8 input channels. The conversion of an analog input signal results in the corresponding 10-bit digital number. A to D module has high and low voltage reference input, that is software selectable to some combination of VDD, VSS, RA2 and RA3. So this 10-bit analog to digital converter can be controlled using different special registers. In those special registers, the first one is ADCON-NOT register. Its address is 1FS. In that we have ADC S0 and ADC S1. So bit 6 and 7. This is ADC conversion clock select bit. That means using these bits, you are going to select which clock that you are going to use for analog to digital conversion. Every peripherals need clocks. The same clock will be used for its operation. Here for analog to digital conversion, we have these 2 bits. Using these 2 bits, we can select the different clock source. When you keep them, when you set it to 0, 0, it means that you are going to use off of your oscillator clock frequency of your chip. Then you have a channel select bit. When you that is, it has different combination from 000 to 111. So when you keep it to 000, you are going to make them to channel NOT. So we are going to use these configuration. We have initially we are going to keep bit 6 and 7 as 0, as well as bit 3 to 5 as 0. Okay, then bit 2 like go or done. We will make this bit to 1 to start the conversion. When it is done, that particular pin will become low when there is it will become active low when the conversion is over. Then we have to enable the peripheral analog to digital converter, we use AD on. That means bit not of AD con not register is used. When you set this bit to 1, it is powered up. That means it is active, else it is not. When you go to sleep, you have to keep this bit to 0. Then AD con 1 register. This particular register is used, the bit 7 of this register is used to select this style of the result. Like if you set that bit to 1, it is right justified. If you set to 0, it is left justified. We are going to use left justified operation, so we are going to keep it to 0. Then AD conversion clock select bit. So we are going to keep this also 0 0. There we are going to use the maximum conversion clock. Then bit 4 and 5 are unimplemented. Then we have the fourth configuration bits. When you set this bit 0 to bit 3, that is I am going to use only one channel. Okay, so to do that we have to feed this one like E. I am going to use only A and not analog input channel 1 alone. So I will set these 4 bits to E. Okay, that's all. Then we have, this is the block diagram which explains about operation of analog to digital converter. Your analog to digital converter module is there. Then it has a V analog in pin that is multiplexed with 8 different pins based on the CHS bit, that is channel select bit. It will select a particular channel. Okay, and we do have the reference voltages like reference voltage plus and minus. If you want to supply the external reference voltage, you can give that. So this is the result justification. When you set it to 0, 6 and 7 of ADC result register low and AD analog to digital converter result high. So if you say it as a left justified, only 2 bits, lower 2 bits going to be in the AD RESL, and then remaining content will be in AD RESH. So by default we will ignore the last two bits. We are going to ignore in our program last 2 bits. That means we are completely ignore the analog to digital AD RESL completely. We are going to take only the AD RESH alone for the consideration. Though the data are there over the AD analog to digital converter result L, we are not going to use that. That's how it is. Let us see the program. So this is an assembly program that we are going to use for the analog to digital conversion, because the assembly program is more optimal, and we don't require any library that is external compiler or something like that. We can simply use the free compilers of MPLAB to write the program. Okay, so initially we had said, like, let me narrate the program. Very first we have configured this particular word 2F42. This should be done. If this configuration value is not correct, we will get some sort of, the program will not work as most of the cases. So it is good to do the configuration very first in an appropriate way. So I will explain the configuration in detail in another session. As of now, we understand that this is the configuration that we have to use. Then we have to include the input files, header files, because we are going to use most of the registers in equivalent text. We are going to use the text equivalent of each special registers in this controller. So we have to include this particular header file, pic16f877a.inc, and then we define bank not. The bank not is equivalent to 20 in data memory, address 20. When I call the address 20 as bank not, from there I am creating a block. That means from address 20 I am going to create a block. The block going to have 5 bytes, that is R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. Each one consists of 8 bits. So this I am going to use to store some temporary variables. This is similar to declaring some local variable in C program. Then I am going to start writing program. So the program should be started. Program is started from org 0x000. That means I am starting my program. Then I am using a jump statement, go to start. As soon as you start running program, you jump to start. When it sees this, it will simply come over here. When it comes here, it is doing some other operation. Okay, this is a reset vector. 000 is a reset vector. When it sees a reset vector, when there is a reset, then the very first instruction is go to start. It will come here. After coming here, it calls a function serial in, that means serial port initialization. What this function does, why we have to initialize the serial ports? The reason behind the initialization of serial port is, after converting a physical signal into digital quantity, we are going to transmit that signal to PC. If that is the case, we should do a communication with the PC. The only way that we can do the communication with the PC using this controller is via a serial communication interface. That means RS-232 interface. We are going to transmit the converted result to the PC. Okay, so I am doing the initialization. Let us see what is there in that function. It calls this routine. Here, first what I am doing, I clear the BCF, that is I select the bank not by clearing status bit 5 and 6. Why I have BCF means clear the bit of the function register status. Which bit it is? 5. Similar way, we are also clearing the bit, the status register bit 6. What is the meaning behind that? Actually, we are selecting the bank not by doing this operation. How is that? When you see the data sheet, here we have this RP0, RP1 are present in the status register. Okay, this RP0, RP1 is the 5, RP0 is the 5th bit, RP1 is the 6th bit. If I set that those two bits to 0, I am selecting the banknote. Why I am selecting the banknote? Because I am going to access the RCSTA register. This register is present. This register is present in the banknote. Is that true? Let us check. This is banknote. Yes, this RCSTA register is here. So we are going to access this register. In order to access this register, we are selecting the banknote. After selecting the banknote, we set the serial port enable bit in that particular RCSTA register. Let us see the bit map of RCSTA. So if you set that bit to 1, serial port enabled, that means we are configuring RC7 as RX. That means port to C7th pin is going to be used as RX pin. RC6 is going to be used as TX pins. That means we enable the serial port module, that is serial communication module. That is the very first step that we are doing. Then BCF RCSTA RX9, we are clearing 9-bit communication. That means we are not going to do 9-bit communication, only we are going to do a 8-bit communication. So we clear the RX9 bit. This is the RX9 is, if you set that bit, it is a 9-bit reception. If you set it to 0, 8-bit reception. We are going to do only 8-bit reception. Then we also clear SRN. What is this SRN? What does mean by SRN? SRN means single receive enabled bit. Okay, so if you single is enabled bit by D, actually in asynchronous we are going to do an asynchronous communication. In that time it is don't care, it is not going to be considered at all. Then we set the CRN. What is the use of CRN? In asynchronous mode, it is CRN means continuous receive enabled bit. So if you set it to 1, it enables the continuous receives. Then we set the 5th bit. When you set the 5th bit of status register, it becomes 01. The 01 means bank 1. Why we are selecting bank 1? Because we are going to access the TXXTA TSXTA register. This register is in the bank 1. Let us check. Yeah, here we have TXXTA. This register, what we are doing? We are setting the TXXTA BRGH bit. So let me see the bitmap of this particular. If you set this to 1, high baud rate select bit. We are selecting high baud rate. That we have done that. Then we are clearing sync bit, SYNC. What is the use of it? If you clear it, you mean that asynchronous mode communication. That means UART is the asynchronous mode communication. So we have to clear this particular bit. We did so. Then BCF TRISC, that means for a TRISC bit 6 bit is cleared. What it means? For C data direction register. Okay, we are saying it. We are saying that bit port C 6th pin is port C 6th pin is output pin. Port C 7th pin is input bit. What is the port C 6th and 7th pin? As per pin diagram, the pin is TX of the RS-232 communication and 7th pin is RX, that means receive pin of RS-232. So we are making them as that is the 6th pin as output 1, 7th pin as input 1. Then we move the literal 81. We move the literal 81 to working register. Why? Then we move function register. We move that working register to the function register SPRG. Why we move 81? Why we are not moving something else? We need baud rate of 9600. In order to get 9600 as baud rate, we have to feed the 81 to SPBRG. How? There is a calculation. Let us see the calculation. So see, when it is a baud rate, this is the formula. When you set it to baud rate high, your baud rate is equivalent to F oscillator divided by 16 into X plus 1. Okay, if you do that, we will get, that is in our case, my development board operating frequency is 20 megahertz. 20 megahertz divided by 16 into X plus 1. That means first what I have to do to get the baud rate. My baud rate is 9600. My expected baud rate is, so to calculate the baud rate is calculated from the oscillated frequency. How? So this is the formula. Baud rate is equal to F oscillator divided by 16 into X plus 1. So move the exponents to that place and baud rate to the move the X plus 1 to left side and baud rate to right side. If you do so, we will get F oscillator divided by 16 into 9600 is equivalent to X plus 1. Okay, so let us calculate the X plus 1 first. X plus 1 is 20 into, let's go to scientific, 20 in 20 exponential, okay, 6. Okay, this is that one. This divided by 16, that divided by 9600. Okay, we have 130. The X plus 1 is equivalent to 130. The X is equal to 130 minus 1, that is 129. So when you come to the programmer, 129, the equivalent X is 81. That 81 is coming here. Got it? So move literal 81 to the working register, then we move that to SPRG. Where this SPRG is? It is in bank 1, I believe. It is 99 in bank 1. So SPBRG, it's moved to SPBRG. Then we set TXSTA, TX enable. That means TXXTA is another special register. In that we are enabling, we are setting the TXEN bit. TXXTA pin, when you set this particular bit to 1, transmit is enabled. So we enable the transmission. Then we return back to bank naught by clearing the bit 5 of status register. We are coming back to bank naught. Once we come to the bank naught, then it returns to the place where it is called. So we are coming here, then we select the bank 1. Similar way we are moving the tris E also out. Port E, where is port E? We have port B, D, so all these things are related with the analog to digital one. Port E also made as output in this place. Then move literal 0E to working register, then that is stored in the ADCON1. What is the ADCON1 bitmap? Here we have, when we make it to E, it means that we are going to select this option. Okay, we are going to use only one analog channel as input. Okay, so that is done. So we initialize the serial port as well as we did the analog to digital conversion initialization. After that we are coming back to bank naught. In that we clear ADCON naught function, which we completely make it to 0. ADCON naught, when we make it to 0, this is the configuration. So when we make it to 0, if it is 0, you are going to use AD conversion clock. Select is FO, this FO F oscillator divided by 2. Then channel selection. When we make it to 0, channel selection 1, 0 0 0, that means channel naught. Then we are by default we make it to 0. Then AD on. As of now, initially we turned off the analog to digital converter module. Okay, then we turn on only AD on. Analog to digital conversion is started. Then we are waiting for a delay. It is around some 28 clock cycles we are waiting for analog to digital conversion. This is the acquisition time or conversion time. Once that acquisition time is over, then we are looking for once the acquisition is done, we are ADC CON naught bit 2. What is bit 2? That means go, you convert it. We are commanding the analog to digital conversion. When we do so, then we are monitoring the same bit. After making it to 1, we wait for that to become 0. Bit test the function register of ADC CON naught bit 2 skip if it is clear. So we set it to 1, we are waiting it to become 0. Once the conversion is over, it will skip this instruction, otherwise it will keep on waiting here. Once it is done, it calls the conversion. What this function does, con function, this con function, it is simply converting your x value into ASCII value. What is that? How it converts? It initially select the bank not because we have AD result H. AD analog to digital conversion result high is moved to the working register. Once after it is moving, we make a copy of the result into R1. Because the conversion is over, we are copying the result to the register 1. Then we are just and the MSB of the AD result high byte. So to do that, we are ANDing it with 0xF0. We move the result, we move the MSB to R2, that means register 2, it is a temporary register. Then we swap the value of this one to working register with copying that R2 result to working register. Then that value is also moved to the working register value is moved to R3 register. Then we subtracting 9 from the result, that is from MSB. Why we subtract 9 from MSB? We are checking whether the value, the MSB value is greater than 9, because up to 9 to ASCII value, to display the ASCII value, if we add only 30 is enough, but to convert the x value more than 9, we have to add 37. That is the reason. So when it is greater than 9, it goes to AD 37, it adds the 37 to it and move to the L3. In L3, the converted value is transmitted. When the result is less than or equal to 9, adding 30 will give the equal ASCII value. So if that is the case, it comes to this one, it comes to this routine, this program control will come here, then it transfer to add 30 add 30 here. When it is when it comes here, it moves the content of R3 to working register, then it adds 30, then the convert that added value or modified value in transmitted to, it is transmitted to this one, like it's transmitted to via serial communication it is transmitted from the controller to the PC. Okay, again the R1, the same R1 that we copied, that is the content of ADC result H, is again because that was stored in the R1, that is copied back to working register. Now we are and the LSB of the that result high with the 0xf, that only we are extracting the LSB from the result. After extracting it, we are checking it whether it is less than or equal to 9 or greater than 9, same operation. So we are doing it for LSB. If it is greater than 9, we add 37, less than 9 we add only 30. The reason behind that is we simply want to see them in the terminal, otherwise in the that is in hyperterminal or ASCII terminal, we want to see our X value in terms of ASCII value. That is the main aim of this conversion function. Once that is we are doing it in two steps. We are extracting MSB of the result, and then we convert that into the equivalent ASCII and transmit. Similarly, we do it for LSB. Once all those things are transmitted, it comes out from this function. It is coming out from the conversion function. It returns in the place where it was called. So we have we converted the physical input to digital input, and then we transmitted it from the controller to the PC as an ASCII text. Once it is done, we also transmit new line characters to distinguish between each transmission. We add a carriage retain on new line, and that is those characters are transmitted from the controller to the PC. Then we wait for a small delay, then we go back, we redo the steps. We simply convert the analog channel not into equal digital value and transmit it from the controller to the PC. This action is repeated. Okay, so this is my program for converting a physical quantity to physical signal to digital. That means to digitize a physical quantity, we can use this program in PIC16F877E. I have given a complete explanation from A to Z how to see the data, that is how to see the data sheet, how to make the different calculation, how to program, what is the meaning of each step, everything. Now let us see the output, how it looks like. Okay, so here what I do, I just compile this first. When I compile it, I believe we don't need one step. One second. Let me remove this step. I think this is not needed. Step is not needed. Okay. Then let me compile it. My build is succeeded. Now I have to flash the program. To flash my program to controller, I need a PIC2 flashing module. So I have it with me. So let me connect it with my PC. We connected that. Now I have to connect. I have to plug my controller. So let me take my controller out from the board and fix it in the flasher. I fixed it now. Let us see whether it is deducted in the let us see whether it is deducted in the this one in PIC 2. So minimize all this stuff. This is my PIC 2. Okay, so let us read it. It says found and connected, PIC device found. Let me read that. It is reading and updating its configuration values, everything. Okay, let me import my this one, like X file. This is my X file that we created now. I imported the X file. Once it is ported, we get X file successfully imported indications. Then hit write. So it will pop out a warning just to say continue. So it's programming. Now it is done. Let me verify that. So the verification also successful. Now everything is over. I completed the flashing of the chip. Let me close this. Then I am plugging my controller to the motherboard now. Motherboard back. Okay. So once I did that, so now I have connected my that is controller to the motherboard. Let me power it up. So it's powered. Let me connect RS-232 cable to the laptop. I connected that as well. So now to see the output, we have used Teraterm putties. So my current COM port is COM3. So I select OK. So now I am getting E0. This E0 is something like some. It is open. When the pins are in open state, we get some junk values. Let me give input. As of now, I didn't give input to this one. So let me turn this off for a second. I am generating a DC input of 0 to 5 volt using a pot here. DC volt of 0 to 5 volt using a pot. Now let me turn my off. Okay, so I am changing my input voltage now. So when I change the input voltage, automatically the value is increased. 63, 77 goes can go up to FF. So okay, we reached the maximum value. So let me come back to 0 now slowly. Okay, it is 0. That's all. So that's all about analog to digital converter. We have written the program, we have flashed the program, we have executed the program, we saw the result by giving a test input. I believe this is a very long session. but we studied completely about PIC 16F877A analog to digital converter completely. I believe this will be very helpful for the people who works on embedded system. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.